Hello, I'm Amy Muller, co-founder and director of community education at Get Satisfaction. Welcome to Community College. Thanks for joining me today to learn more about curating your community. If you've listened to any of my past webcasts, you've likely heard me mention the importance of curating and talking about best practices around managing your community. Our community management team has worked on codifying our own curation practices into a document. Today, I'm going to share some of the highlights with you from our community curation guide. Most of the curation practices I'll be discussing today do require our moderation tools, which come with all of our paid plans. I'll touch on a few curation practices, though, that don't require a paid plan. So first of all, what is curation and why is it important? I actually quite like Wikipedia's definition. Curation is generally the selection of, care for, and presentation of the objects entered into a collection, whether that collection is physical or digital. The emphasis of curation may vary among the selection process, such as the use of expertise or expert advice to decide what items or content should be added to a collection or archive, the caretaking process, controlling the decay of historical objects or biological specimens, presentation, determining how objects or records are displayed, including what metadata will be displayed along with them. And then it goes on to explain digital curation specifically. Digital curation is the selection, preservation, maintenance, collection, and archiving of digital assets. Digital curation is the process of establishing and developing long-term repositories of digital assets for current and future reference. So curation is important because it keeps the content in your community relevant and findable, both for the benefit of your community members and for yourselves and other employees. You'll be able to quickly find topics in your community that and be able to point to them as needed. And you want to keep your customers up to date with the status of what's happening with issues and problems and ideas in your community. And you also need to be able to report on a variety of metrics in your community. The better curated it is, the more accurate and meaningful your metrics will be. And finally, it just keeps your community tidy and organized. I like to think of curating as pruning a garden. The more you prune and care for your garden, the more it flourishes, the more enjoyable it is, and the easier it is to find what you're looking for. Apparently there's a car hidden under the overgrowth in that garden on the left. So we've broken curation down into the following categories: topic assessments, response time and topic status, moderation guidelines, and guidelines for categorization. So first, let's talk about topic assessments. Findability. When responding to topics, you always want to ask, does it belong in this community? If it's not about your company, is there a community that you can move it to? Otherwise, just remove it. Can this topic be merged into an authoritative or canonical topic? Is it the correct topic type? Does the title appropriately sum up the content of the topic and use any keywords efficiently? Were products, tags, or user-defined codes? So findability is one aspect that you want to be considering when making assessments about the content in your community. And then you also want to think about quality. As time allows, consider the following when reviewing your employee responses in your community. Were all questions or concerns addressed? Was correct and sufficient information provided? Were the employee replies in a human, friendly, and empathetic tone? Was correct grammar and spelling used? Were other resources embedded or linked to when appropriate, like screenshots or embedded videos or links to slide decks, links to your help section, etc.? Considering these questions and learning from them can help you to improve your team's output and performance in your community. So that's just some of what you can do when assessing the topics and assessing the content and the replies in your community to make them more findable and to make sure that there's high quality in the content in your community. Next, let's talk about response time and topic status. Many support organizations have a service level agreement that specifies the appropriate email or trouble ticket turnaround time. To ensure a high quality and valuable experience to visitors of your community, you should consider establishing an internal SLA for responding to and setting the status on topics of your community. You definitely want to figure out what kind of turnaround goal makes most sense for your community based upon your customers' expectations, your own resources, and the role your community channel plays in your overall support offerings. And then you will likely have different response time expectations for different topic types. Here are some examples. For questions, we recommend getting a first response in as soon as you can, even if it's not a final answer. At least that way the user knows they've been heard. That response time might be something like 2 to 4 hours within normal business time. with a goal of a final answer and setting the status within 24 hours, Monday to Friday. For ideas, it's good to acknowledge and thank the user for posting an idea within 24 hours. It's ideal if you can get a member of your development or product team to join in the conversation. Acknowledging a problem as quickly as possible, even if you don't have a solution yet, is very wise. Within a couple hours, if not sooner, if possible. Problems can take longer to solve, so it's important to check back in occasionally to provide updates. Praise topics don't necessarily need a response, but it's nice to acknowledge them within the day. You want to encourage more praise. And again, just remember that these are just for example only with regards to the specific times. You need to determine what are the appropriate response time windows for your own community. And then once you set that expectation in your community members will come to expect that. So you want to make sure that it's something that you can maintain. And then there's topic status. So likewise, you should have guidelines around how and when you set the topic status with some goals for doing so within a given amount of time when possible. And these might also be broken down by topic type. Questions related to your company or service should be set to answered once they've been answered. And anything unrelated to your company or service or topics that are created to be responded to by other members or that just really don't require a specific answer from you can be set to doesn't need an answer. This basically clears it from your workflow in the needs attention filter in the management view. And just as a reminder, all of these status setting features that I'm talking about are available on all of our paid plans. Keep all new ideas without a status. Status is determined in cooperation with the development or product team. When the development or product team determines that the idea is worth pursuing, but a project plan hasn't been created, set the status to under consideration. When a project plan has been created and the idea is slated for release, set the status to planned. Corresponding label or project ID, etc., should be added as a tag or as a UDC, user-defined code. When it's either clear that an idea won't be developed or the development team or product team rejects it outright, set it to not planned. Once implemented, update the topic and use the redirect tool to point to a company update topic or a blog post announcing the new feature. When a problem is obviously not caused by your product or company, you can set the status to not a problem. That might be a case of user error that you helped the user solve, but it wasn't a problem that was on your side to solve. If you can reproduce the problem and have filed a bug, set it to acknowledged. Make sure a corresponding bug number has been filed within the product development system and that a tracking number is added as a tag or UDC. Set it to in progress when the problem is currently being addressed. And of course, set it to solved once a fix has been implemented or the problem has been otherwise solved. If it's a big enough deal and you're certain that others in your community will want to hear about it, you might want to create a company update topic about it and then use the redirect on the problem topic to point to that company update. Praise topics should be marked as complete in the management view so that these don't come up under your needs attention filter in your workflow, and the same with company update topics. Next, we have moderation guidelines. Our moderation tools are another one of the keys to maintaining a healthy, thriving community. Following are some best practices that we suggest when it comes to using each of the moderation options. Let's first discuss merging. When do you merge? If a topic is a duplicate of an existing topic, even if there are replies, when we merge topics into each other, the vote count increases and ensures that the topic poster and any followers of the merged topic are notified when the authoritative topic is updated. A notification is sent, but only to the topic author of the duplicate topic, not the repliers. Notifications of any new replies that are added to the authoritative topic are sent to the topic poster and repliers of the authoritative topic. Be sure to add an explanation of why you're merging when you can. If merging into an authoritative topic, be sure to merge, then comment on their reply. Doing so ensures the flow of conversation within the topic and makes it clear that you've responded to everyone. Archive a merged topic after you've merged it if it has replies. Topics with no replies will disappear after they've been merged. Redirect. So when do you redirect? If a topic is related to another topic but isn't exactly the same thing, or if you're unsure if it's the same issue, you may want to use the redirect instead of merge, since you can't undo a merge. You can also redirect to non-topic items like portions of your help section, a YouTube video, marketing pages, community guidelines, etc. We do not send any notifications to the topic author for redirected topics because the topic still exists at its normal location for them. But you should include a description for what you're redirecting to and why, because this text is visible at the top of the topic and should clearly state what the redirection is about. Archive. So when do you archive? And first of all, let me say a little word about what archiving does in your community right now. When you archive a topic, it does not remove it from your community, but it does remove it from search results. It does cause that topic to cease to get indexed by Google, so eventually it won't come up in Google search results. That topic will never show up on your highlights view of your community homepage. The topic will still be in your recent activity view of your community homepage, and new activity can still occur on it. People can still comment on it, for example. But when that new activity happens, it will not bump up to the top of the list. So basically, over time, it gets buried. So when do you archive? We recommend archiving at maybe the end of every week or as applicable for topics that meet the criteria. And we'll talk through a bunch of different criteria that we follow for archiving. But it is a good idea to include an explanation of why you're archiving the topic. And you may want to break down your archiving guidelines based on topic type. So for questions, customer-specific issues that would not affect other users should get archived at the end of each business week or when they're resolved. If not marked as an FAQ or some other tag that identifies it as a topic that should be kept active, then inactive topics should be archived after 3 months of no activity. And we think of activity as new replies have been made on it, new votes have been added to it, the Me Too or plus ones. So any topic that is really just a one-to-one customer-specific issue, once it's answered, you can archive it. Topics that might have been relevant for more than just one person, but have had no activity for 3 months and don't really serve a long-term purpose in your community, so you haven't done something to mark them as something to hang on to, could be archived after 3 months of no activity. Ideas, not planned ideas after 3 months of no activity should probably be archived, but you might want to, yeah, exactly. You want to make sure that you've said not planned, that you've set the status before you archive it. You want to keep implemented ideas always to have a catalog of customers' ideas that you have implemented. Don't ever archive no status, under consideration, or planned topics. If those do need to be archived, then switch them over to the not planned status first as a way to communicate that you won't be implementing them. Problems, not a problem or solved problems can be archived after 3 months of no activity, or if a new or similar but different bug crops up and folks start commenting on an old bug because it looks like the same problem, that can cause a lot of confusion. So you want to make sure you get those old bugs that aren't going to be relevant again archived. And then keep acknowledged and in-progress problems alive in your community until they've been solved, and then you can archive them. Praise. Really you only need to archive praise topics if they refer to any element of your company, product, or service that is no longer relevant and might cause confusion. And then company updates. After 3 months of no activity, any company updates that really aren't relevant to keep around, you should archive. If you do want to have some company updates that sort of live on forever, then make sure that you give them whatever the indicator is going to be for authoritative or FAQ type topic. Some other reasons for archiving would be any one-to-one issues, any topics that were imported into an internal ticketing system that you're handling offline now or out of the community that aren't pertinent to other users in your community. And then any unrelated inquiries after a week of no activity. Like sometimes somebody might post a topic in our community, we're not really sure if it's really about our company, we'll go in and ask them. If we don't hear back from them within a week, then we would, if it was a problem, we'd mark it as not a problem or a rejected question, and we'd archive it. Remember to tag any exceptions with a tag or user-defined code to prevent it from getting archived. So you just need to come up with what your system is for your own team. It Get Satisfaction, we have the word authoritative that we use to in a user-defined code tag to mark any topics that we want to make sure don't get archived. And now let's talk about the remove tool. So when do you remove? Our policy at Get Satisfaction is to use the remove tool only if the user requests their topic to be removed, if it's a terms of service violation, such as the user is abusing other users, for example, if it's crass commercialism, or the topic contains spam or porn. Yes, a notification is sent to the author of the removed content. So that's why you really do want to be delicate with removing content from your community, because some users can be very sensitive about that. So if someone's posted something that you don't like because it's a complaint about your community, but they're not doing it with inappropriate language, they're not doing it in an abusive way, Our recommendation is to actually respond to it and see if you can turn that user around and change the tone of that conversation. When removing a topic because of abusive behavior of the poster, be sure to give a natural language explanation with a recommendation to repost the topic without the abusive tone. And then if they continue to violate the community terms and conditions, you can always ban them from posting new content in your community. But we definitely do recommend always including an explanation for why you're removing, in a human way for any removals that have to do around sort of more abusive behavior. If somebody has just posted porn or spam or crass commercialism, then, there's not much need to give them much explanation for why you're removing it. So now let's talk about some guidelines for categorization of the content in your community. Following these guidelines will help customers find what they're looking for quickly and efficiently. So the first thing is renaming topics, which you can do on all paid plans. The topic title should clearly define what's being discussed in the topic itself. Make sure the topic is the correct topic type as well, because how you rephrase a topic title greatly depends on its topic type. Add and edit public tags. Tags are great for 3 reasons. They help make topics more findable based on search terms. You can create tag-specific widgets. And if you click on a specific tag, you'll get a list of all the topics associated with that tag. And then you can share the resulting URL with a customer. If an employee adds a tag to a topic, members cannot remove it. Moderators and official reps can remove any tag from a topic. Community members can only remove their own tags from a topic. Make sure that you think about adding singular and plural versions of the tag, and think of all the common words or phrases a user might use to search for the issue. Use any terms that will assist employees with finding the topic later. You also may want to come up with a taxonomy internally for specific tags your team should add to certain types of topics. Add and edit products and services. Like tags, product categorization is useful for 3 reasons. It helps make topics more findable based on search terms. You can create product-specific widgets. And if you click on a specific product or service, you'll get a list of all the topics associated with that product or service. You go to a product page, and you can share the URL for that product page with customers and post it on your website. If an employee adds a product or service to a topic, members cannot remove it. Moderators can remove any product association from a topic. Community members can only remove their own product association from a topic. And then add a private tag, the UDC, and that's available on Integrate and Enterprise plans. So currently these are called user-defined codes, and it's a feature that's available on Enterprise and Integrate, and you can only associate one with each topic. You can also create widgets based on a particular UDC. And this is a really flexible feature with many possible uses. Some suggestions are using a UDC like we do called authoritative, or FAQ. These are used on topics that we want to keep around in our community and not archive, or topics that we know are frequently asked questions. And then we can also point users to a list of those topics. Unrelated, use if you don't want to remove a topic, but it's not 100% about your company or service. A bug number, add the bug tracking number if one exists with your bug tracking system. That way you can search for that later when you want to update that particular problem topic with the information that's available in your bug tracking system. A ticket number, if you added the topic into your ticket tracking system, you can add that ticket ID as a UDC or a public tag. The project or product name, if there's a cluster of topics that refer to a specific project or product within your company, this is super useful when giving feedback to the product development team or product managers. And maybe UX feedback. Use this to give your UX team a list of all the questions, ideas, and problems that refer to the user experience of your product or service. Needs update. That could be a tag that lets your team members know that there's an authoritative FAQ topic that needs revision. So these are just some suggestions of things that you can do with private tags, and if you're not on a plan that includes those, you could work with them with public tags as well. And then next, some guidelines for marking authoritative or canonical topics. So an authoritative topic is the main topic that we refer members to on a particular subject. And that's the one that we merge similar topics into if there's topics that are about that similar issue. So how are they categorized? We mark them with the private tag authoritative. You can come up with a system that works for your team and based on the plan that you're on. We never archive authoritative topics unless the content within them becomes irrelevant due to product changes, in which case we would remove that private tag. Any topic type can be an authoritative topic. So what do you do if there's multiple topics about the same subject, but you don't really have one that you want to make the authoritative topic. So we talked about if you have one that you feel like this is a good authoritative topic, it's got a great conversation around it, there's been some good employee responses here, then that can become your authoritative topic for that kind of category of topics around that issue that you would merge other topics into. But if you don't have a topic that really stands out that way, then we recommend actually creating a new FAQ topic about that issue, merge all the other topics into it, and reply to it, and then make sure the employee reply is promoted as an official response. And in guidelines for marking and tracking bugs, if a problem topic can be duplicated, then set the status to acknowledged and file a bug in your internal bug tracking system. Once the bug has been filed, make sure that you link the top number as a user-defined code or a tag. Once the bug is associated with a release, you can switch the status to in progress. And we also have integrations available. For instance, we talked recently, I think it was last week, we did a demo of our new Jira integration, which is in private beta right now, but that does all the work for you of linking a topic to a particular bug in your Jira software. And then guidelines for marking and tracking ideas. If your product team has indicated that an idea is accepted, then associate it with the appropriate project labels or number as a UDC or tag. And then once the idea is actually associated with a specific product release in your product management system, if you have one, like maybe Pivotal Tracker, then set the status to planned and add tracker story number or whatever the ID is for that back into the topic. So in summary, let's review the top level recommendations for community curation. You want to assess your topics. Are they findable? Do they have quality responses? Create internal response time guidelines and recommendations around status setting for each of the topic types. Be sure the status has been set when appropriate. Use the moderation tools to keep the content relevant and the community tidy. And categorize your topics with tags, product associations, and user-defined codes. Mark authoritative topics, bugs, and ideas appropriately.